I never know what's going to come up when I sit down to record. If you don't know, I for sure, never, ever, ever do I script anything. That would be kind of wild to do that for a reading. But with everything that's going on, e-files, the horrors of humanity, all those things. I'm not going to go into details on that. There are lots of people who are, how do I want to say this? They're in a different energy and they're researching it. It's valuable. It's important for people to know, but I'll leave it to them. Okay. They are maybe a little more built for that. I'm going to handle what I handle, and that is the spiritual coping, which, you know what I mean? Like, what's happening from a spirituality standpoint. And immediately, these are angels and light beings that are giving us messages here. And things that have been buried, they're literally showing me, like, I don't know if these are deities or many creatures that had been, they're saying creatures. So many creatures that had been buried are now being pushed out of the earth. This is definitely not in any way, shape, or form any bit of resurrection. These don't feel like good beings. These are beings that had been planted and now they're being pushed up by their roots. This heavily gets into Nephilim. People are talking more about giants. You're going to be hearing, go hug a conspiracy theorist. Go hug them. Okay? Because they're the ones that have been brave enough to face these horrific things that are going on. And then to try to tell people and then to be completely humiliated and discredited and whatever, right? When they were trying to help. And it turns out they were right. First we had the pandemic and now we've got this. And I will personally say, I'm sorry I shut down when, because I'll tell you what, some of the ones who have had my back the most have been people who are labeled conspiracy theorists. During that pandemic, I had people offering to send me, all kinds of stuff to make sure that I was going to live. Y'all, I fattened up real nice, okay? Like, I could live off the fat of this land for a while. Ain't gonna starve for a long time, I promise. But how lovely that people were looking out for me. I had a nurse. Remember back when all this was going on and masks were at a premium. I had a nurse send me one of hers, and they had low stock, okay? And she made sure she set one aside and sent it to me so that I could keep myself safe. I had people making masks for me and sending them to me. Y'all are good people. And I want you to know, I don't know what my subscriber count is on this platform. I think it's 93,000, something like that. I had gone to 100,000. This is besides the point. But then I started going down, and that's okay. But I feel all of you. I love you. I thank you so much for being a light in this world, for helping me, being so kind to me, especially when I was that was my desert age, like where I was, 40 days and nights in the desert. Like I was, really going through some massive, massive spiritual work. And it wasn't just, definitely by the support of angels, or what we call angels, right? But some really, really hard soul lessons, because I ain't coming back here. Okay. So I done told God, I said, hey, you better figure it out. I want the one true God. That's the only one I'm going to deal with. Don't you give me no fake gods. I ain't trying to do none of that. get it going because I ain't coming back. I'm not coming back here. Done. Okay. So when we put that out there, if you are somewhat, I don't know if I am close, watch me come back as like a worm or something like that for saying this. But, but I just wanted to get whatever karmic lesson I was supposed to do, however I was supposed to help here. Let me just get it done. And so that means there was a lot of trials and tribulations. I am holding on to so much right now. And if you don't mind cozying in, I'll tell you, I'll kind of hit on some of this, and then we'll go back to some of the bigger spiritual implications of what's going on here. I've been watching some people talk about the GATE program, gifted and talented education, I think is what it stands for. I'm not 100% sure. And then some people knew it as TAG, talented and gifted. And I had seen these things pop up and I didn't think much of it. And then people started talking about mall worlds. Y'all. Like this. Yeah. These could be separate videos for sure. And I started realizing more and more. I was just like, oh, I never had that, because people were like, did you ever get pulled out of class? Yeah, I did. And did you have to wear those headphones? Yeah, I did. But it was just a hearing test. And so people are now saying, no, it wasn't. And that fluoride that they forced us to, was so funny when I was a kid. Some of you might be too young and maybe they don't do this in schools anymore. But in the 80s, and I don't know if it went into the 90s, but definitely in the 80s, literally someone would come in with a cart into the classroom. And I remember, I think this was like 5th grade. I mean, we did it before then, but like 5th grade, I remember they came in with a giant jug of this stuff and it had a big pump at the top. And someone would just stand there and start putting these little Dixie cups out. And we would have to go row by row. I'm getting chills as I say this. Row by row and go over and pick it up. And we never drank it. We swished it around. Sorry, this is going to get a little gross and graphic, but we swished it around for 1 minute. And then we had to spit it back into the cup. And we had a napkin that we were supposed to soak up the stuff with. And we threw it away. But that was fluoride. We were being administered fluoride. Now, people will have all kinds of things to say about that, but that was like concentrated fluoride. Why? We know fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, your intuitive center. All of that's connected. You close off that crown chakra. I mean, there you go. You're cutting off your connection to the divine. More and more I'm realizing, I always knew this, but I just was telling somebody else this. Our education system, at least here in the United States, is all about indoctrination. It's about being an obedient servant. Think about when you go out into the workforce, there's a hierarchy and it's like all pretend, but someone's going to act like they own you. Right? Like, or, they do in a way, they own your energy. Like if you, again, I was just saying this to somebody else, but if you have nightmares about your job or you have nightmares about school or whatever, yeah, that can be performance anxiety and, all that kind of stuff. But, test anxiety, all of that. But I think too, it's just getting into our energy field. Now, going back to the GATE program, I started remembering, well, what happened was that somebody posted a photo of the headphones with the sound and something wild happened to me. Like I kind of straightened up and I was like, oh my God. I even said out loud, outside. I said out loud, oh my God. And it like went right through me. I remember sitting and having to take a test, and this was in kindergarten. Now, there's standardized tests that everybody had to take, but I got very good grades, very good grades. So it was me and a few other kids. As far as these are all foggy memories, but I vaguely remember a few of us being taken over for further testing, and they had these like they were like cardboard blocks that had like, it was almost like a paper or something around it that looked like brick. And they had those stacked around us so we couldn't see what each other was doing. That's all I remember of that. I remember the cards with the shapes on them, but I don't feel like they were used on me. I'm not sure. Again, the memory is very foggy, but they seem very familiar. Not familiar from like seeing them in movies or hearing other people talk about it, but like those, I don't know, like they were used for someone else, but they weren't used for me. And I also remember at some point just having a sick feeling about this and throwing the test and answering wrong so I didn't have to go back. I have talked on here about gang stalking. I have had things happen. And I bet a lot of you can relate to this. This is why I'm talking about this. I've had so many things happen in my life that even when I went and spoke to a therapist about it, I ended up stopping and asking her if she was okay. I knew from when I was young. Okay, this is going to be really kind of wild and weird, but I have very, very, very early memories that I can describe in great detail from when you're not supposed to have memories. Is that from trauma? That would be the easy answer, right? Or was there some bit of targeting? Again, I know I'm speaking wild things right now, but these were all things that I want to lay out there because the stuff we thought was just completely off the charts, we're realizing now, yo, maybe we're hitting on some truth here. Maybe we're hitting on some truth. If you've noticed, in the past couple of years, I have really dialed back on the angel soul stuff. Part of that might be midlife crisis. Like, I'm not going to lie. Maybe part of it's perimenopause. I'm tired. Your girl's tired over here. Okay? But eating a lot, too. Ugh. I don't want to anymore. But, yeah, just going through a lot of changes, but spiritual awakening stuff that is not like what happened when I was a kid. It's not like what happened, in 2007, I had another spiritual awakening. 2012, it kind of amped up. 2020, obviously, we all cracked open. This, I don't even know what to call this. And I'm not afraid of it. I'm in awe of it. And yet it's like we're in the middle of the worst horror movie any human could imagine. And I'll go further with that. I don't think any human would ever have imagined it. It had to come from somewhere else. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I think through a combination of indoctrination, maybe mind manipulation, control. Why are some of us dreaming of mole world? And I left a comment for somebody because, again, I'm connecting with people. This is why they want to shut down all of this. Prediction, internet's going to go. We're too accessible to one another, and that's too dangerous. Going back to the comment, I was hearing people talk about mall world. I have had dreams like that. I didn't really remember them. And then I started going, oh, wait a minute. What am I talking about? Yes, I've had those dreams. But I left a comment saying, I usually dream of a house. It's like an endless house. And I keep finding secret rooms. And it feels super familiar. But yet I keep discovering things. Sometimes the house is crowded. Sometimes I feel like people are there and it's okay that they're there. but it's also at the same time a little intrusive. Or sometimes I feel like in some of these dreams I'm intruding on someone else. So all these weird things, right? So part indoctrination, part, I gotta be careful with what I say. Like a G, R, ends with an M, ING, tactics, conditioned people conditioning us. And I'm just scratching the surface, and I'm speaking very vaguely. I just heard somebody talk about, I went to Ohio State, okay? And Les Wexner he's all over, his name is all over our medical buildings, art center, like all this stuff. There's all that. I was waiting for OSU to end up in the news. I'm like, tick, 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 tick. Like there were just, it was too many things. Like, now it's all coming together. Now that all the information's coming out. Oh my gosh. And I heard this woman say that we had all been conditioned, whether you're, an elder millennial, zennial person or a millennial. Les Wexner owns Bath and Body Works, Limited 2, Victoria's Secret, Pink. Look into it. Look into it. All of that conditioning that you're supposed to be super, we're talking like the 90s into the 2000s. Super dangerously thin, hairless. Like the clothing. I don't want to go too far because I could go on forever about this, but think about it. Think about all those things and how it became wildly acceptable for young girls to dress a certain way. It was expected. Remember the baby doll tees and the low jeans? Now, some of you who grew up in the 60s and 70s, you'd be like, shut up, Michelle. Like, we had that from back in the day. Okay. But there were other things, again, I can't get too explicit here, but that young women were expected to wear under. Okay? Think about it. Think about the pressures that were put upon us. Food supply, body image, food supply. Oh God, I don't even want to know what's going to come out about that. I mean, I already kind of know what's going to come out about that, and I don't want to think about it. We know, especially in the U.S., the food is absolutely poisoned. Water, air, all that, all kinds of things going on. Okay, we are in a little molecule. I don't know why I said it like that. Molecule, molecule of what I think is about to break open. Now, if you're sitting here going, oh my gosh, please, Michelle, I can't take anymore. Welcome to your spiritual awakening. What you're having is an ego death. That thing where people say, oh, you've just become numb to all these things. No. You've gotten smarter. And you see the manipulation. A monster has been pulling our strings. I believe the term for that is Egregore. Now, we can have that on an individual level. We can have it on a grand scale. But whatever it is, we need to unplug from it. If you think that being left or right is the answer, you're part of the problem. If you literally look at performative grief on television, all over social media, and you say, those poor people, don't judge how someone else grieves. How dare you? There's the indoctrination. People have been controlled that as soon as somebody starts to wake up and they start to see the truth of something, someone else has to diminish them and tear them down and shut them up. Because what is the thing that we're taught is the most important thing? Social acceptance. Besides that, being chosen by someone as a partner. Why would some of the encouragement to start having children at a very young age be in place for our civilization? You know, as a single woman in my 40s with no kids, there's a whole lot of propaganda out there about how we're all so unhappy. And like somehow we did not, I got a fuzzy, didn't fulfill our destiny as women. Why the desperation to have children around? Why have this conditioning, this brainwashing, that it's better to be in a horrific relationship than to just be on your own? When you're in, because I don't know too many people who are in a healthy relationship. We're all messed up, okay? Listen, hey, yo, maybe we're on our way to getting better, but I don't know, okay? When you're in dynamics like that, and you're having to sort of maneuver around someone else's bad mood, their attitude, their judgment, their whatever, then you're going to be in a low frequency. And you're going to be extremely distracted. We know how those distractions work, don't we? There is so much that is being unearthed. And I'll tell you what. I was taking a shower this morning. I try to make my showers luxurious, okay? I don't know what that is, but I like have good shampoo and good skincare and all the things, right? Like I like nice smelling things. I like pretty things. I do. So I'm in there, I'm doing my luxurious shower with my good shampoo and everything. And then I thought in my head, I'm like, God source creator, why? I do this sometimes. Why, angels, why? Why didn't you have me wake up to this sooner? And there was silence. And then there was the sense of, you already know. Give yourself a second to figure it out. One, we're collective and we're all connected. Someone may try to shoot out ahead, but imagine a bunch of like, I'm about to come up with like a weird analogy. A bunch of little animals inside of a balloon. And one's really trying to push through that balloon and is going to go shooting ahead, but the rest of them are behind. He gets flung back inside. I know, it's not great. It's what I came up with on the fly. Okay? I feel like that's what we're doing. So like if we try to like stretch ahead, eventually, we're going to be brought back because we all have to go together. Now, some people would fight that and say, heck no, I ain't waiting on these fools. Let them be over there. I'm going to move on. And maybe that's, I cannot tell you the mind of God. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I can tell you that most of you who think you're worshiping God are not worshiping God. I can tell you that a lot of you have willingly gone into the chains. There are so many things that I just want to like scream from the rooftops. But again, protect the kids. And this is exactly what I meant when I said that. And speaking of the brain, I wouldn't let my brain go to these. I knew that this stuff was going on, the e-file stuff. I knew that was happening. I could feel them. I would have dreams of kids like crying out for help. And I'm one of those hard dreamers. Okay? Like I don't know what goes on. I just know that it's not like I was sleeping at all. It's like I went into a whole other realm and had a whole other lifetime for a few moments or a few hours. And I didn't know what to do with it because who are they? Where are they? What's going on? Like, and of course, I think there's a self-protection that happens and you shut it down. And I learned from the earliest of ages how to dissociate until the bad stuff is over. I could feel them. I could hear them. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get to them. And yet there was always a part of me that I didn't go through what they went through, but I went through some stuff. And it broke my brain. It broke my spirit. It broke my innocence. It took everything. And there's, I'm sorry, my there's just so many things that are flooding out, and I'm feeling like I'm all over the place here. But and thank you for being here. I'll pull some cards here for you in a little bit. But we have to unplug. We have to unplug from that thing that keeps tabs on us. And I know I sound paranoid. I know I sound like a crazy person. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. I didn't know how to help because I thought I was too weak to help. And yet, a part of me felt like the energy of these children, or I don't know, the souls of these children, whatever was reaching out. And I bet a lot of you experienced this too. Like you knew something, like you could hear, it's almost like cries at night. But where are they coming from? And who's going to listen? Who's going to believe us? So I prayed, meditated, sent out that love. You heard me say in videos, send that love out, send that love out, send that love out. I lived in Hollywood. I never dealt with any of this stuff that some of these people, they would have never wanted me near it. They would never wanted me near it. They wouldn't have come near me with that. But there were back rooms, and I wouldn't go there. I have had chance after chance after chance of like what would be commercially thought of as huge success. But a lot of it required a very deep, deep energetic sacrifice, and sometimes a physical sacrifice. So no, I wasn't going to sleep with someone to get a book deal. No, I wasn't going to sleep with someone to get a role in a movie. No, I wasn't going to compromise my integrity to be an influencer. Maybe some people would describe that as self-sabotage. I say we haven't seen anything yet. And it's just now starting to make sense. I'm just now starting to put a lot of the pieces together. I know I'm all over the place, but that's how it's coming. It's all just spilling out. We've only been shown what they're okay with us seeing. The people who I know are the most deeply indoctrinated are the ones who will quickly negate any open-mindedness. I know these people. I have these people around me. Hey, this could be going on in the world. No. Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. But they go overboard with trying to shut it down. The earth is pushing out these beings that have been laying dormant, and they're just sort of running around now. And I think that they've occupied human bodies, and I think it's going to get a lot weirder. But just remember, before I start pulling cards, just remember, wherever you are, whatever you've been through, you're still alive. You beat them. You beat them, and you made it here. So many things going through my mind. So many things. Maybe we'll save it for another time. It's already been 35 minutes or so. I'll probably edit this down so it's not so crazy. But let's see what your energy is. Let's focus on you. We have to do some editing on this for real. Like, dang. All right, guys. Let's see. Pipelines, earth, like anything with the earth and water. So think ocean floor, something's coming up out of the ocean. Oh my God. I can't take any more. Okay. Remember how I said, give me plenty of lifetimes in one? Ugh. Okay. The Lovers, for what? What is this for? All right. Well, there you go, guys. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug. Okay. Fine, whatever. Oh, happy Valentine's Day, by the way. You can't tell, but I got this cute sweater on. See, we got all deep and all this. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. All right. So we have the number 6. This is the material realm. The Lovers, Archangel Raphael. So there is healing in connections. And I think this is, given everything that I just brought up in little snippets and discombobulated messaging, thank you for being patient with me and being here. I think that's another type of revolution where we're not just going to partner off with people. Okay. We're going to go where we have a deep connection. Yes. So make choices from your heart. That's important. Being in tune with the heart. Deeply emotional commitments, the power of love. So we're getting away from this sort of airy-fairy, fluffy, conditioned love, if that makes sense. And no pick me girl energy around here. Okay. This is, I want the kind of love that makes the universe smile. Okay. That's the kind we want. Putting good energy out there. 3 of Gabriel. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Prosperity arising from wise planning. Time to take the next step. Optimistic plans that turn out as expected. So what's going on here is that there are going to be a lot of things. The system is crumbling. The system is crumbling. The system is crumbling. The system is crumbling. It can't hang on anymore. And we have not been told the full story. We have not been told, even still. It gets weirder. It's going to get weird. Someone was talking about time travel, and I said, I believe that the whole time. Since Quantum Leap. Is that about time travel? I don't know. Was that cute guy that went into different lifetimes or whatever? Anyway, 3 of Gabriel. This is basically, I always feel like this is a new beginning. It's kind of moving away from an old situation. And people say, because there's a ship there, your ship is coming in. That with the Lover's card. This feels like souls awakening and coming together. And forming sort of like a chosen family dynamic. 2 of Ariel. It's important to have balance. So you're waking up. This might really have you having, I think the balance here that this is talking about is what you can't unknow. And yet you still got to make a paycheck. Like, you know, all this stuff over here, you know, all of this is completely a waste of time, whatever you're doing, all right? But you still have to balance, you know, having health insurance and all that kind of stuff. So you're doing what you got to do here a little bit between the 3D realm and the spiritual realm, okay? It's important to have balance, working multiple jobs or projects at once, making work fun. So being careful. This could also be with the other cards, balancing, you know, sort of your dropping the cards, your home life with work. But again, I feel like it's more like, okay, here's this life I've always been trained to want, and there's some change around that. Like, you're changing direction. Now, I don't know that all these things are going to happen quickly in a linear fashion, in an obvious way. I don't know about all that, but it's happening. 10 of Ariel, there's so very much to be grateful for. Financial success and the promise of retirement, a rich and rewarding family life. So things are turning out for the better here by pushing the monsters out of the earth. Pushing them out of the earth. I was talking about something coming out of the ocean, and then I think I switched topics. Oh, what if that happens? Oh, there's lots of Ariel here. So being grounded, okay? Because again, there's going to be a lot more shake up. It's too much to get into. I mean, it's just too much to get into here, okay? Do what you love. Just enjoy your life, okay? Do what you love. A time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors, working with others in a cooperative manner. So again, here's this coming together with others, being observant about what is happening, what is going down right now. When it's time, you'll know what you need to do. All right, so we'll leave it there. I love you. I love you. Let's be a good support system for one another. No more airy fairy fluffy. No more feel good readings. I don't think that those are going to age well. I don't think those are going to have a very valuable place in history. So find your wise ones, the ones who have a true, strong soul purpose, not humans that are just, you know, brainwashed and trying to pretend. I hope that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but it will. All right. I love you guys. Take care.